this one just slip away from him, but it just, you know, he showed a lot of courage making that 4.79 in the ninth frame, or in the eighth frame, and then striking out in the ninth and 10th, just one pin short.
Well, it comes down to experience. The question of who you like now. Both Skidmore and Steve Martin have 9 years as a PBA member under their belt. 7 titles for Steve Martin. Gary Skidmore's won 4.
And Skidmore right back on his favorite lane. You notice that Steve Martin has made Skidmore finish on lane 46. He's not going to let him finish on that lane 45 that he likes so well.
You have the feeling that Skidmore has suddenly found it now, though?
Well, he certainly is a confident appearing bowler right at this particular point.
Steve Martin has just dominated the throughway lanes this week. He was so far ahead going into the last round.
Well, that's the way to start.
Boy, the crowd is behind Steve Martin. He was so funny during our pre-tape and everything.
And there's his wife, Kim, looking on. Steve is a hilarious person, I'll tell you. He has a marvelous sense of humor. Always keeps you in stitches.
Tennessee twister.
And he's always, it seems like he's always needling me. And I might say that I mentioned at the top of the show that he won in Southern California this year, and he made $27,000, and he corrected me right away. He said he only made $18,000 in that, and that I can give him the extra $9,000. So.
All right, let's see if he can double up.
Looks good. And he gets it.
Indeed, he gets it. So Steve Martin throws a double at Gary Skidmore after sitting around for an hour and some 30 minutes. Now let's see what Skidmore can do.
And Steve Martin opting to play out closer to the first arrow rather than the second arrow that we've seen everybody else play closer to. Skidmore has struggled on lane 46, but seemed to get it together in the closing frames.
Both men weigh 185 pounds.
A little bit difference in size.
It's proportional different. Steve Martin will tell you his weakness is cigars and food. Loves his family. He's a really good family man. All right, this is Skidmore.
Trying to keep the match even. And he's there. Oh, he seems, like you say, he's found it on both lanes now.
That almost looked like double dribble the way he dropped the ball, but boy, he was there.
Perspiring out there, wiping off that sweat. And there we see 2 strikes for both players.
Skidmore is a big Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Well, why not? Chuck Noll doesn't get any credit. All he does is win. Good team to get behind, I'd say.
If you're a Steeler fan,
yeah.
I've never been a Steeler fan.
Well, I'm sure you're for Cleveland or Cincinnati where you live. Double working, 3rd frame.
Trying for one more. Right there. Knocks out the 10.
Did he ever? Steve Martin says, whoa, I got myself some competition. John Jowdy has really helped Steve Martin. Let's take a look at Skidmore.
Watch the follow through straight up. Watch the 6-pin get that 10. Second from the right, the 6-pin goes to the wall and gets that 10. Never a doubt.
I mentioned Jowdy as Steve goes back to get a little air. John is usually here each week. We'll see him next week because we've got the Columbia event coming up. But he changed the push away as far as Steve Martin was concerned, and apparently really helped him. Double going.
Trying for 3s right there, and leaves the soft 10. Good shot, left the 10-pin.
Boy, he was right in the pocket. Martin is 26 years of age, yet he's been around almost 10 years on the tour.
I told him I was kidding. He must have started when he was 11, you know.
Yeah. 2 children, Cassie and Steve Jr. He's an avid 49er fan. Maybe him and Skidmore will have a fist fight over the best pro team, huh?
Well, you know who the only team to defeat the 49ers last year was. It was the Pittsburgh Steelers.
There you go. Let's take a look at both bowlers here, Mike. Let you analyze.
And we see the difference in style here. Skidmore holding the ball out to the right. Straight swing. Look at how square he is at the top of the swing. Martin started lower, right at the top of the swing. Doesn't have the left arm out like Skidmore does, but the follow-throughs, very similar. And the lines are different. Skidmore playing closer to the second arrow. Martin closer to the first. Both bowlers getting the job done.
All right, spare going 4th.
And it's high. Ooh, is he going to get a break? He got one of them over. And Steve looking at his hand right now, but led this tournament by 380 pins, but all those pins are dropped, and it's a one-game match. It means nothing right now, and he's behind by 12 pins to a very confident Gary Skidmore that seems wired in. Hard and straight. Is he going to make it? Yep.
He didn't use too much boards that time, did he? All right, we have ourselves a good one going. Skidmore leads by 12. We'll see what he can do in the fourth right after this message. Leads by 12.
Trying for 4 in a row. And leaves the soft 10 pin. And you see his motion with his elbow out a little bit. That indicates that he elbowed the shot just a little bit, as we talked about in the tip with the follow-through. He didn't go as straight through it as he wanted to, and the ball hit a little weak.
What is a soft 10? Explain that.
A soft 10 is where the ball hits the pocket not quite as strong as you want it to, and the 6 pin doesn't get up out of the channel to get that 10 pin. It just kind of lays there, tries to get up and out of there, but doesn't. The hard 10, by contrast, is where the 6 pin flies around the 10 pin and leaves what they call the STP, the solid 10 pin, as we see the scoreboard there. Skidmore 79 in the third, a spare up. Martin 68 in the third with a spare up, the difference 11 pins. Skidmore wiping that oil off the ball.
He hadn't won a game until beating Bill Peters on TV since he beat Guppy Troop.
Last fall, right?
True value.
So that's one reason probably why he showed so much emotion in winning that game.
Spare going. Leads by 11.
And back on his favorite lane, 45.
Right there. Well, Steve Martin. I had a chance talking. We mentioned, Mike, that he's 26 years old. He's been on the tour almost 10 years, and I asked him, is the best ahead? Is the best ahead?
I sure hope so. I revamped my game a couple years ago for a little longevity, and I feel like it's just now coming around. I feel like I'm getting stronger every year, and that hopefully I'll be able to bowl real good, real full time for about 10 more years.
He's got a spare going in the fifth.
There he is. All right. He says, all right, I knocked that 10 pin out of there.
As Gary Skidmore can only look on. It's interesting, Steve Martin plays golf with a legend down in Tennessee. Buck Van Huss is a high school coach at Dobbins Bennett in Kingsport, Tennessee. And just, you go through Tennessee, everybody knows about him. And Martin and Buck tee it up a little bit.
You noticed Skidmore there just not paying any attention to what Martin's doing. He's just in total concentration for his own game. The mark of a true professional. Another one right here, trying to cut the lead to 1 pin.
There. All right. Is he ever? Stays clean. Well, we got ourselves a match going, Mike. We saw a great one last week with Jackson Young. We've got the same kind of finish we're heading for. Both bowlers are clean. Look at the reaction here.
He watches that ball go right over target. And he's saying, come on, get that 10. All right. Yeah, last week's match started like a finger painting and ended up like a Rembrandt.
I like that, Mike. I'm going to give me a pencil. I'm going to write that down. All right. This is Skidmore.
Light. And doesn't knock the 5 pin out of there. Just didn't get quite the finish on the ball that he wanted. So close, yet still leaves the spare.
Nobody misses a 5 pin. Isn't that what you always say?
Well, I'll tell you what, I put some money on that Gary Skidmore's not going to miss it right here. But if I put the kiss in that on him, I'm going to have to shut up the rest of the year, I'll tell you.
Lane seemed to get tougher as the day wound on yesterday. We're in the last match.
And Gary comes through and makes the 5 pin for us. Maintain his 1 pin lead. And his wife, Sherry, is an excellent bowler in her own right and seems just as intense as Gary does. We see Skidmore with 119 in the 5th and a spare up. Martin with 88 in the 4th and a double working. The difference right now, 1 little pin. And that's what Skidmore won the first match by. 1 pin, 212 to 211.
All right, let's see what Gary can do. Started out with 3 in a row. Then he's gone spare, strike, spare. If form follows, he'll get a strike right here.
And form follows.
He's got it. All right, what a match we've got going. Skidmore and Martin, a difference of only 1 pin, and there's the leader. We'll come back with more